definitely my wife.
Me too. No, not your wife.
I called Rupert's wife, but I let her know. I was like, hey, listen, definitely my wife. And I love the fact that you use the term stepping into the world, because it is such a well-built, well-articulated world. And just the opportunity to step into this franchise that has dinosaurs and things to run from and run to, and to be afraid and be on an adventure together. I felt like the nature of how the story was arced out and written, it just felt like it was gonna be really good.
I loved working with him, and he's a very, I think if you probably have met him, he's just very quiet, kind of quite unassuming. He doesn't sort of shout or boast or show off, and yet you see what's inside his mind, and it's beyond, there's no limits to his imagination. So I was thrilled because there's only so much of it we actually saw when we were there, and that was great. But then realizing that there's another, at least half as much again, that he was conceiving of. It was like watching a painter where you sort of see a few lines and you're like, what's that? And then suddenly you realize, oh my word, now it's this. And then they start shading, and it's really, really deft and detailed. And as I said, kind of limitless. There's something, a bit untrustworthy about him based on what he does. You can sort of, I think you can find a lot out about any human by what they do rather than what they say they do. And so his actions, I think, spoke.
I think the really relishing in some of the softer moments, I think is sort of the key to playing that character, because it's written in a way where you have to step up to the ambitious moments in the script. The sort of more aggressive, confronting, action-driven moments are there for you to step up to. I think you have to be very conscious of how to slow down and how to soften at times, so that there's some counterbalancing to how forward and sort of masculine he can be.
This sort of an adventure has got plenty of challenges. If your cast, your colleagues, were not as superb, supportive, and talented as these guys were, it would be really very, very tough. To look to your left and right and just see the best of the best makes you bring your A game. I think it makes you feel safe enough to take risks. And you form this kind of collective, because not only were we in these quite grueling environments, but most of the film we were imagining. And that's an interesting challenge. It's part of our job, but it is a challenging part of the job, and it's enormously helped by having Scarlett and Jonathan and Mahershala. I think that Jurassic Park as a franchise is endlessly fascinating because of our endless fascination with dinosaurs. It is a species we know existed, and we I was going to say we cohabited with them. We did not do that, but we have this kind of knowledge of them, but it's completely theoretical. So to feel a filmmaker bring them to life as good as Spielberg or Gareth is sort of like going back in time and a magic trick all rolled into one. So it's not an imaginary monster like, I don't know, King Kong, nor is it a sort of ghost going bump in the night. It's a natural thing. It's a completely beautiful natural thing, an animal that kind of ruled the earth. And then it's obviously the thing that Crichton was writing about, the meeting of science and nature, where man's meddling in the natural world inevitably has consequences that you can't foretell. And I feel like that is just a great recipe for a great movie. And so I'm thrilled that it's been so popular and continues to be.